scientific revolution, was also a practicing occultist. The outstanding example is Giordano Bruno, who was burned by the Catholic Church, burned at the stake on February 16th, 1600 in Rome. Bruno was charged with 18 counts of heresy, including practicing magic and teaching the Copernican theory of astronomy and founding secret societies to oppose the Vatican. Frances Yates, a leading historian, wrote about her major topic was the birth of the modern scientific worldview. In the Renaissance, she thinks Bruno may have founded either Freemasonry or Rosicrucianism, or maybe both of them.
This journey will be dangerous all the way to Oregon.
Finding a therapist doesn't have to feel overwhelming or impossible. BetterHelp is designed to help you take that first.
And in that tradition, Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, is another person in that tradition, and Aleister Crowley is another. He was Parsons' major teacher. The general view is that science is based on experiment, and occultism is based on woozy thinking and blind faith. But the kind of occultism that the Western world has produced from the Renaissance to the present has been based on the same principles as science. It's based on very simple things. You do this and you observe the result. It's just like science. It's just the same thing as scientific experiment. You sit in a certain posture and try to empty your mind and see what happens. You change your posture and use a mantra. Instead of trying to empty your mind, you just keep repeating over and over, Om Namu Shivaya, Om Namu Shivaya, Om, or whatever the hell you want, Hare Krishna, 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 or whatever you want. My favorite is Shamati Shawati, Shamati Shawati, Shamati Shamati, Shamati Shawati. It's like a windshield wiper, but it really empties the mind pretty quickly. Shamati Shawati, Shamati Shawati, Shamati Shamati, Shamati Shawati. Magic in the Western occult sense is a whole bunch of tricks and devices, clever means, as they say in Hinduism, clever means to mutate your consciousness by blocking the usual paths your consciousness goes in. Ordinary consciousness is a conditioned response to early childhood experiences and early conditioning and early learning and so on, which is why the children of most Catholics remain Catholics, the children of most communists remain communists, the children of most Muslim fundamentalists remain Muslim fundamentalists, etc., etc., etc. If you want to break out of the robotic conditioning imposed on you in childhood, you need some kind of dramatic technique. And Western occultism is one of the more dramatic techniques of busting out of conditioned consciousness to become aware of the many levels of reality that you can perceive if you're not trapped in one particular reality tunnel. Parsons understood Crowley very well. Another American scientist who suffered as much misrepresentation or just plain being ignored by the mass media, Timothy Leary, also understood the importance of Crowley. Leary's work is very much in the same tradition as Crowley and Parsons. You do certain things and you observe the result, and you see what conclusion you can obtain from that. Crowley, Parsons, and Leary both used consciousness-altering drugs to a great extent. That is considered the major crime in modern America for reasons that go back to the witchcraft persecutions. Joan of Arc was burned at the stake for using drugs to contact superior intelligences, which she called angels. The Catholic Church called them demons. Whatever the hell they were, they told her to unite France and drive the English out. She used marijuana. It's very interesting that people are in jail all over this country for the same crime that Joan of Arc was burned at the stake for, isn't it? Jack Parsons was probably killed by the American government for using the same techniques of altering consciousness. I think Crowley's techniques, Crowley's magazine, The Equinox, box had the masthead, the magazine of scientific aluminism, and the importance of the scientific method in the Crowley system is not generally understood. Most people just know that step by step is a series of techniques for abolishing suffering by detaching yourself from mechanical conditioned reactions within the nervous system. And then he goes on to explain magic as a series of techniques to make yoga work faster. That could have appealed very much to somebody with a background like Parsons.
Were you a driver for Amazon Flex? You may be entitled to thousands of dollars. Amazon is accused of illegally underpaying drivers. If you were a driver for Amazon Flex, sign up for a compensation claim. It's free and takes only 2 to 3 minutes.
And then again, maybe it was just one of Crowley's, maybe it was one of Crowley's novels, like Diary of a Dope Fiend, which might have appealed to somebody with a chemical background. I got interested in psychedelics because of a conservative philosopher named Russell Kirk, who in one of his books mentioned Aldous Huxley's experiments with mescaline, and said this proved the existence of heaven and hell. I wasn't sure it proved the existence of heaven and hell, but what I observed was that it showed that consciousness depends on the chemistry of the brain. And that's what got me interested in psychedelic research, because the idea that consciousness depends on the chemistry of the brain is a natural thought to me. I had a kind of I had basically a scientific education to start with. And so that could have appealed very much to Parsons with his background. But however he got interested in Crowley, Crowley was like a key that opened a lot of locks for Jack Parsons. The idea that the Crowley system is black magic derives from a lot of fundamental misunderstandings. The only possible intelligent definition of black magic is using psychic power to harm people, putting curses on people, trying to make them sick, trying to kill them, sticking pins in voodoo dolls, that kind of thing. That has nothing to do with Crowley's system. Crowley's system is considered black magic by fundamentalists and people of that ilk because it's entirely devoid of Christian emphasis. It's ecumenical. It includes Taoism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and it includes Christianity too, although Crowley tried to hide that as he got older because he got more and more hostile to Christianity. But if you do some of Crowley's rituals, you'll get a deeper understanding of what the mystical level of Christianity. I got my deepest insight into the symbolism of the crucifixion doing a Crowley ritual. It includes all the religions of the world, but it's not limited to any one of them. And to fundamentalists, that is the great satanic blasphemy, not putting Christianity above all other religions. The New Age, the reason they're so hostile to the New Age is it doesn't say Christianity is the one true path. The New Age says learn from all the religions. That's what Crowley was saying too, except he didn't like religions. He was saying learn from all the practices. Don't accept any of the dogmas, but try the practices and see where they get you. Try meditating, try praying, try yoga, try drugs, try everything everything that shamans and wizards and yogis have been doing from the dawn of history, see where it gets you, and use scientific skepticism about the results. Crowley never believed any of the supernatural, the supernatural entities he contacted. He realized that they were all projections of parts of himself, and so he learned from them what you can, but don't believe everything they tell you. Some of them are liars. That's a very central part of Crowley's teachings, and Parsons understood that too. Parsons got involved in this idea of the Moonchild from one of Crowley's novels, and the idea is to create an infant who will be born all through the 9 months of pregnancy. There will be all these magical and magical in quotes, and other influences to separate the child from normal earthly influences and make them more compatible with life in outer space. Because Parsons saw the future of humanity as being in outer space, and he wanted to create a child who would be equipped to live in outer space. Well, since then we found out that going into outer space creates a mutation in consciousness anyway. 85% of the American astronauts and the Soviet cosmonauts have all had mystical experiences. People who go into zero gravity experience the same kind of change in consciousness that you get on marijuana or hashish. This is only one of the many higher levels of consciousness. It's nothing like LSD or the psychedelics, but it's a definite mutation in consciousness. And Parsons was trying to create a child who would be born with that kind of consciousness and would never be dragged down by the I can't help quoting Timothy Leary again. Gravity is the enemy, levity is the salvation. Levitate, go higher, don't get pulled down, don't get dragged down, don't be too grave, don't be too serious. And Parsons understood that. It's time for us to get used to outer space. And it's happening, whether Parsons was responsible or not. Some people think his Mojave Venus working was not completed properly, and that's why we're having all these weird UFO phenomena. Whether that's true or not, we are getting ready for outer space just by the simple fact that so many millions of people believe they've had outer space contacts already. They're turning into moon children in the Parsons sense. And of course, those who have very rigid belief systems find it absolutely terrifying, and all they can remember is that they were raped by little green monsters from outer space. Well, that's not quite what happened, in my opinion, but it's the only sense they can make out of this kind of experience of encountering extraterrestrial intelligence. As Jodie Foster, the scriptwriter, or whoever says in Contact, if we're the only intelligent beings in a universe this size, that's an awful waste of space. Parsons' major occult educational background came through the Ordo Templi Orientis, which was founded or revived or whatever. In these subjects, there are always alternative versions of what happened. But sometime in the 1890s, a couple of German Freemasons named Karl Kellner and Theodor Reuss decided to create a Masonic Academy, which would be a kind of central office in which all the different Masonic traditions could be rationalized, synthesized, and the differences between various orders of Freemasonry could be abolished. But what they created didn't satisfy any of the different schools of Freemasonry, and did not become a Masonic Academy, so they changed its name to the Ordo Templi Orientis. And it was their idea of what was the most sound and important and revolutionary aspects of Freemasonry. And they got a lot of disciples all over Europe and some in England. One of them was Wynne Westcott, who was a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a Rosicrucian society in England, in which Crowley got his early education in occultism. And in 1912, approximately, Theodor Reuss came to Crowley and told him, "You've written a book in which you reveal the secret of the 9th degree of the Ordo Templi Orientis. Why have you done that?" Crowley said, "I don't know any. I didn't reveal any secret of the 9th degree because I don't know what that is." And Reuss said, "Well, you've published it very clearly." And he showed him the chapter in a book of Crowley's with the humorous title, "The Book of Lies, Falsely So Called," which is a wonderful title because of the title tells you it's a book of lies. The subtitle tells you it's not a book of lies. And you got to figure out whether to believe the title or the subtitle. And when Crowley looked at the chapter Roy showed him, he realized suddenly he had been a 33rd degree Freemason at that point already. He suddenly realized that the Ordo Templi Orientis really did have what was the most central and important part of Freemasonry. So he accepted the 9th degree, and when Royce died, he appointed Crowley to the 10th degree, which is the outer head of the Ordo Templi Orientis. And the Ordo Templi Orientis ever since then has been pretty much under Crowley's influence one way to some degree or another. And anybody who wants to find out the central secret of what Freemasonry, Illuminism, Rosicrucianism, and all the occult traditions of the West, alchemy, what they were all about, Crowley tells you quite clearly. It's in one of the chapters of the Book of Lies. All you got to do is decide which chapter it is and decipher it. I think that Parsons' work in the Crowley system, which, as I mentioned, Crowley calls scientific Illuminism. It's very important to note the adjective as well as the noun. Scientific Illuminism. That's Crowley majored in organic chemistry at Cambridge, and Parsons was basically a chemist before he was even an engineer. The Crowleyan system is particularly valuable to creative people, whether in sciences or the arts. Parsons wasn't the only student of Crowley that made major contributions. J.W.N. Sullivan was a major mathematician who wrote absolutely the most brilliant book on Beethoven that anybody has ever written. He was able to, none of all released convicts are back in jail within 1 year. None of all released convicts are back in jail within 1 year. In Leary's therapy group, using psychedelic drugs and mystical readings, 90% of them were still out on the streets after 1 year instead of being back in prison. He entirely reversed the usual pattern. They were curing schizophrenics with LSD. People found they could learn languages much quicker with LSD than they could with any other technique. They cured alcoholics. It's astonishing how many successful scientific reports there were on LSD before the government made it illegal. Crowley has always appealed to me because he stands out among all the great mystics of the world in being the most egregious case. There are some pretty weird mystics in all traditions, and some that look like they were part-time crazy, but there's nobody quite compares to Crowley. Mary D'Este Sturgis, who was Crowley's mistress around 1911 and wrote the introduction to his book 4, she said other religious leaders say believe me, Crowley says don't believe me. Now that's what I find most attractive about him, is his constant skepticism, and don't believe me. Try the exercises and find out for yourself. He studied most of the schools of consciousness alteration that existed in his time. He studied yoga with the Hindus and the Buddhists, various different types of yoga, Hatha yoga, Gnana yoga, Raja yoga, Tantra yoga. He learned a lot about Taoism in China, and became an I Ching expert long before there were any others in the Western world who knew anything about I Ching. Did his own translation of the Tao Te Ching. Studied a little Sufism in North Africa, evidently. He was the leading authority in his time in the Western occult tradition. And he picked up bits and snatches of And then you find the universe alters, which of course is inevitable because the only universe you know is the universe in your consciousness, so it's just kind of confusing to some people. But this combination of do the work and don't believe anybody's dogmas, draw your own conclusions after you've done the work. I like that approach. Crowley put it into a poem once, which I'm fond of. We place no reliance on virgin or pigeon. Our method is science. Our aim is religion. I think that's a terrific approach, especially when you look around at so many things that are called New Age that are so gullible and medieval. People who you feel you could easily sell them the Brooklyn Bridge if you were inclined. They'd go and get their savings out of the bank and hand it to you right away. Compared to the gullibility and superstition in most New Age centers, Crowley is really refreshing, like cold water in the face, really wakes you up. And there's a lot of interesting stories about Crowley, and I don't think there is yet a really good biography of Crowley. They're all biased. Most of them are biased against him. His men and enemies got into print before his friends. And there are several books that portray Crowley as a raving monster and demented maniac, sadist and whatnot. And then his friends or admirers started writing biographies that are equally prejudiced and try to portray him as the magus of the new aeon, the utterer of the word of the law, which will turn.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator one day, but I have no supporters. So if you have the chance, please subscribe.
In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry, not a single tear, and not till
Please don't scroll.
Transform the whole planet, the Illuminati conspiracy he wasn't supervising personally was the work of the devil. And, well, the Double Cross Bureau had some real weirdos in it anyway. Besides Wheatley, Ian Fleming worked at the Double Cross Bureau. You see what kind of rich fantasy life he had when you read the James Bond novels. And Alan Turing, who invented the Turing machine problem, also worked there. Anyway, Wheatley's invention in the novel called for the devil of Rye, about Crowley and his son invoking the devil. There are lots of weaknesses in this story. For instance, Crowley never spent any time in a mental hospital in France. And for another thing, his son McGregor never showed any interest in magic or in Crowley's occult studies. And for a third thing, McGregor, Crowley didn't die of a heart attack in a hotel room in Paris. And the most lynching argument of all is there never was a son named McGregor Crowley. The whole thing was made up out of whole fluff. There's not one fact in that. It's typical of a lot of the legends about Crowley. Once you start examining them, you find out they were created either by Crowley out of his wicked sense of humor or by his enemies out of their total lack of humor. And it's very hard to find out what to believe. I didn't. It took me a long time to decide whether I believe he worked for English intelligence, but the evidence is cumulative enough that I believe that. Although it sounds like something he might have invented, he did invent some pretty tall tales about himself. Crowley evidently worked in the propaganda division. Among other things, he proposed a sign that's identified with Winston Churchill, the V for Victory sign, which is invoking the powers of Set, the Egyptian donkey-headed deity that Crowley regarded as the mischievous spirit to set against your enemies. Crowley did various other things for English intelligence. All the details are far from clear. Crowley's psychic and propaganda war with McGregor Mathers was really typical of the kookiness of the occult world. McGregor Mathers rose to the position of outer head of the Golden Dawn, which was the primary magical order in England at that time. Yates and several others decided Mathers had become a tyrant and perhaps a megalomaniac. They unseated him and formed a rival Golden Dawn, claiming he was unfit to lead. Crowley sided with Mathers, and Yates developed the opinion that Crowley had sent demons upon him because of his rebellion against Mathers. Then Crowley and Mathers had a quarrel. They each accused the other of sending demons upon them. But they finally got to court because Crowley in his magazine Equinox started publishing all the secret rituals of the Golden Dawn. He announced that the secret chiefs had authorized him to do this. This is the kind of thing that cannot be judged in a court of law because the secret chiefs did not take the form in space-time where they could testify in the courtroom. The secret chiefs exist only where we find this one exists. The White Rabbit of Alice in Wonderland.
ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम
समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये। अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये। अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये। अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये। अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये।
Project 2025. Donald Trump would be able to weapon the Department of Justice to go after his political opponents. He could even turn into his own personal police force.
This is crazy. potentially could be an Illuminati member, Dr. Phil.
Could I be wearing a mask?
You could. Could I get up and look?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think?
I think that the technology is so advanced.
Let me tell you, sister, if I was wearing a mask, it wouldn't look like this. You think that I could be an Illuminati member?
You potentially could be an Illuminati member, Dr. Phil.
Could I be wearing a mask?
You could. Could I get up and look?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think?
I think that
You take that for him? He's in there with you. Oh, you goofball. You goofball. I'm not a car girl. What? Nope, not a car girl. Sorry, this. That's it.
ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयाते सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं Illuminati. Illuminatis. Illuminatis.
अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौंकिलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम
Zero accounting software helped put me on the right path. It's easy to find your numbers all in one place and get a clearer financial picture. So find the power in your numbers and open the right doors with Zero.
समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्त पापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौंकिलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्त पापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौंकिलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्त पापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौंकिलकम्
Explain it.
मम समस्त विघ्नदोष
It's so
निवारणार्थे
concluded.
सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्त पापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौंकिलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं संकीलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्त पापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं संकीलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्त पापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं संकीलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्त पापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं संकीलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्त पापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं संकीलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रु
शत्रुक्षयाते सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये
Bring a bikini and some wine.
अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम्
It's totally the book.
आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम्
It's so
श्री
stupid. Now transferring doesn't even work for lookups to compare to the
प्रीत्यर्थं
assessments.
च
Totally ridiculous.
हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौंकिलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे
Transparency, truth, common sense, and clarity.
सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौंकिलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये
Came back 10 months ago.
ॐ अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौंकिलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौंकिलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम्
We can defeat them with communication, exposing them. They do it themselves.
श्री
Use money for ads.
सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं
They literally
करिष्ये
came back 10 months ago. They did the same show. That was the appeal, so now I have to pay every time.
ॐ अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमान वडवानल देवता राम बीजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्त पापक्षयार्थं श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम बीजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्त पापक्षयार्थं श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम बीजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम्
Oh my god.
आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्त पापक्षयार्थं श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये
What's the first one?
अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम बीजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्त पापक्षयार्थं श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान वडवानल स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य श्रीरामचंद्र ऋषिः श्री हनुमान वडवानल देवता राम बीजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्त विघ्नदोष निवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकल राजकुल सम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्त रोग प्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्त पापक्षयार्थं श्री सीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्री हनुमान हनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्रऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्रऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्रऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्रऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्रऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्रप्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये ॐ अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्तपापक्षयार्थं श्रीसीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्तपापक्षयार्थं श्रीसीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्तपापक्षयार्थं श्रीसीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्तपापक्षयार्थं श्रीसीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थं समस्तपापक्षयार्थं श्रीसीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानलस्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये अस्य श्रीहनुमानवडवानलस्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य श्रीरामचन्द्र ऋषिः श्रीहनुमानवडवानलदेवता राम्बिजं ह्रीं शक्तिं सौङ्किलकम् मम समस्तविघ्नदोषनिवारणार्थे सर्वशत्रुक्षयार्थे सकलराजकुलसम्मोहनार्थे मम समस्तरोगप्रशमनार्थम् आयुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्धयर्थम् समस्तपापक्षयार्थम् श्रीसीतारामचन्द्र प्रीत्यर्थं च हनुमद्वडवानल स्तोत्र जपमहं करिष्ये।
Magic in Theory and Practice. Chapter 0, The Magical Theory of the Universe. There are three main theories of the universe: dualism, monism, and nihilism. It is impossible to enter into a discussion of their relative merits in a popular manual of this sort.